Is this footage really from free AI tools? And the answer is yes. And in this video, I am going to do exactly just that, teaching you how to make these kind of videos for free using free available AI platforms out there. Here is what we are going to be creating.
Let's go home, son.
How do you hunt so well, even at this age?
One day, you won't just hunt for the village. You will be its shield.
How do I protect such a vast community alone?
Never ignore an ally. There is strength in togetherness. Don't worry, son. You will know when the time comes. Now, let's go home.
Are you okay, Father? Please, speak up.
Don't worry about me, son.
Father, who did this?
Hold on. You can't do it alone. It is too dangerous. Son, the time has come. Run, seek help. What brings you here, little savior?
I have come to claim the debt. I seek your help. Our village was attacked by your kind.
And what makes you think I will want to help? I am sorry, but I cannot be of help. Humans are a plague of ingratitude. Very ungrateful creatures.
So cute. But where is your mother? I understand, little one. I will take care of you.
You call us ungrateful. I fed you when the mountain was dry. If you stay here and do nothing to help, then you are worse than the humans you despise. Are you coming with me or not?
Let me think about it.
And if you stick with me till the end of this tutorial, I have very interesting things to share, or some few secrets here and there about making AI films using recent trends. All we need to do is just to go to google.com, and what we need to do is just to type in there Google Image FX, and this is absolutely free to use. And so once we type that in, we are going to select this first one at the top here, Google Labs, right? And then it opens this particular window. So we're just going to come here straight to this other side, and we are going to type in our prompt. Let's write our prompt here, which is 3D cartoon Pixar style side view of ancient black people. The screen is thick with harmattan fog. The trees around are all dry. An elderly warrior clad in animal skin sits on top of a horse draped in leopard skin. So we are trying to describe exactly all the things that are happening in the scene. Let's continue the prompt. His son is beside him in the distance, also sitting on a horse clad in animal skin. They are both looking into the distance ahead into the fog, which has covered the whole place. The man is holding a bow with many arrows in their case hanging at his back. The boy also has a bow and arrow in hand, almost ready to shoot into the fog while sitting on the horse. And this last part, I'm going to delete it right away because over here it's not really necessary. So at this stage, the prompt is already ready. All we need to do is just to click on create, or then we wait for it. So sometimes this can take quite a little bit of time, and for now, I'm going to increase the speed in the subsequent ones, but for now, I just want it to go in real time. So it gives us this 4 options, and as it stands now, I think I like the one on the lower left. That kind of epitomizes what I want. So we just click on the download button here, and it is downloaded onto the computer. Now let's proceed to the next part, which is very exciting. In fact, it's a new technique that is going viral in the AI filmmaking community right now. here on YouTube. So instead of going to manually create every other angle, we are going to supercharge the workflow by letting the AI do all the work for us. Let's jump to my favorite AI model usage platform, which is also a free platform for everybody, which is LM Arena. So just type in LM Arena and then it will open the usual window. So very important here. Let's make sure we come down here and then we hover around this particular button and click on it, which is the image button. Now, once we do that, at the top there, we can see ChatGPT image 1.5. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use that model to try to create that same prompt that I'll type in and then copy that same thing again and recreate it using another model. Because why not? We can use several models right here and there. So we can test them and see which one works. So let's go ahead and then click on the plus icon here and find our image. That is this particular one that we just created. And we're going to write a very long prompt, right? So we're going to tell it to create a 9-frame storyboard of the scene in the same aspect ratio. This is very important. Same aspect ratio using the same consistent characters. There should be an extreme close-up of the boy's face, an extreme close-up of the man's face, an extreme close-up of the boy's hand showing the tip of the arrow and the boy's hand holding it against the bow. A close-up of the horse legs only, and an extreme close-up of the old man's hand in mid-air, signaling wait or hold. A shot from behind them as they sit on the horses, showing the thick fog in front and the dry trees in the fog, as the boy is still in ready-to-shoot mode with his bow and arrow. Also add an establishing drone shot of the foggy dry forest where they are standing. All the images should be in equal size of 21 by 9 format. Make sure all the images are still facing the same direction, consistent with the base image. Keep the 180-degree cinematography rule in mind and make sure each character stays at the same consistent side of the screen regardless of the angle. This is a very detailed prompt, and if you break it down, you realize that I have told it about all the angles I need in this particular scene, which includes a close-up of the man, close-up of the legs of the horse, a shot from behind them, a drone shot, and a whole lot. And I've included everything in this particular prompt. Now, one thing you must know is that the aspect ratio must really be specified. That is the only way we can get it right. And then you realize at the beginning, we told it to give us 9 frames. That way, it's going to try to create 9 different frames, illustrating exactly what we want. So right from there, so once we are done, we just click on this particular button and it's going to take time to process. And remember, by now, we are still using the ChatGPT model. So depending on what we get, we are going to copy the same prompt again and try to regenerate it using Google's Nano Banana. And this is the results that we have. As we can see, it is not that bad, but a lot of the aspect ratio is all over the place. The images are not equal at all. So let's copy the prompt and then we go up here and change it to Google Nano Banana. Now let's paste back that same prompt and try to rerun exactly the same thing. So let's select the same image again over here and then we click on open, right? And then we click on the process button. So let's see what Google Nano Banana is also going to get us within the same process. So let's just give it a while and then the process is completed. Now, once we click on this particular image, once we click on it, this is what we get. And I would say that this is really amazing. This is very close to what I had in mind. So I'm kind of very excited with this. As we can see, it gave all the shots that we actually described. So the boy's face, the old man's face, the tip of the arrow, and then the legs of the horse, then a shot behind them, then the boy holding the arrow ready in shoot position, and the man's hand up trying to signify hold and all that. So this is quite amazing, guys. And as we can see, 9 different frames already made just by putting all the description into one prompt. And this is one way you can supercharge your AI film production. It makes everything really so easy. And I'll recommend this particular technique for you guys. Ideally, after achieving what we want with this particular grade, the next challenge is always how to extract those single frames, because we can use it like this. Of course, we want each of these pictures to be a standalone image on its own, right? And there are ways to go about this. Now, I don't know about you, but certain things about extracting these images hardly works for me. Let me show you what I mean. So in this particular regard, we're just going to click on the edit button, and then it automatically loads the same image down here. And then we click here. Then we try to write another new prompt over there. So let's just say scale up frame 1. Right? And trust me, this technique works sometimes. And another time I may try doing this with one of the shots and it doesn't work at all. But also remember to always specify the aspect ratio. So we say scale up frame 1 in the same 21:9 aspect ratio. So it's going to try to recreate that scene, but still keeping the same aspect ratio as it does the processes. So it goes through all that, and then at the end, it produces this magnificent image. It has successfully extracted that particular image. Let's try extracting this image or that frame number 2 of the boy's face. So we're going to go ahead and tell it to scale up frame number 2 in the same 21:9 aspect ratio. And as you can see, it is processing in this particular regard. And once the final image is in, you would realize that it has changed the position. If you compare the two images, this is not the same image we asked it to extract. Just look at the two images side by side. On your right is the actual image, and then on the left is the extracted image. It has changed the angle. That is not what we want at all. So this has prompted me to go back to the basics. So what do? I usually just go back over here and click on the image and open it in the regular Windows editor. And I just go up and click on the crop button, and it gives me the chance to be able to crop the images. So I go in and crop every single image. So I pull it down up as I'm doing here, pull it sideways, get to that particular one, and then hold this other end too in, and this is it. If I have any refining to do, I do. Then I click on save as a copy. Very important, click on save as a copy, not to override the original image, so that you can keep creating. So select where you want to save it, then you go. You can go on to the next image, same style, crop, pull the side, go to the other side again, pull it in, and then you go to the top, and then you pull the top in as well. And then when you are done, same thing applies. Just go up there and click on save as a copy. Very, very important, guys. And then you can give it a name just to stay organized. And then you click on save in this particular regard. So once you are done, now the issue here is that these images are now going to be in lower resolution. Sometimes people will suggest use upscalers to upscale it, but there's always something about it that I just don't like. So what do? I go back to LM Arena, go back, click on my plus icon, find any of those images that is the low resolution, and then I just open or bring it back into LM Arena, recreate the same image in the same aspect ratio. Then I click on enter. And in few minutes after processing, it's going to return with that same image, now at a higher resolution, still maintaining the same aspect ratio and everything intact. And this is how I do it. So I don't go upscaling the images, but I just recreate that same image again in the AI. That's basically how we went about every other scene that made up this short film. Keep it in mind that this great technique is not supposed to replace your manual creation of angles. It's just supposed to supercharge the process. So now, after getting some of these individual angles, we are now going to use them to further create angles that were not created in the grid. And that is how we should always endeavor to use these AI tools, guys. Let us not always just put it in one click and then we are done. No, it still requires some manual tweaking if you really want it to stand out. So at this particular stage, still in LM Arena, we're just going to upload, let's say, a wide shot of the scene like this. And then we're going to write, take the people out and show a shot of the forest only from a worm's eye view. Now, the end here is wrong. Sometimes when the spellings are not just quite there, but the message is quite clear, the AI will still understand. So don't be too much worried about the spelling stuff. So we conclude by saying, in 21 by 9 format. So we are still reminding it of the aspect ratio that we are using, right? So we give it a while, and this is a worm's eye view still in that same forest. It maintains everything. And this is where Nano Banana shines, guys. We can use it to create every other angle or keep creating alternating angles of what the grid already helped us to create during the whole process. And that is exactly how we went about creating all the other images for all the other scenes. So one other thing you saw in this film is how we usually get things to walk into shot. So for example, having these horses walking into the shot. It is not quite easy to achieve such things using these free AI tools. So in this particular regard, we decided to use a semi-free AI tool to achieve those particular shots. And mainly those kind of shots were like 3 in this particular short film. So we figured out that if we use Google's VO3, where they give free credit for everybody, we can manage to use that to create just those 3 shots. After all, most of them are just the shots of the horses coming into shot. We need an AI that can do start and end frame. We should be able to show the empty part first and then also show what happens at the end. In Ella Marina, you just click on the plus icon and then let's go find that particular horse scene. So these are the 2 horses, and then later on we want them to be able to walk in. So we are just going to write a simple prompt, take out the horses, and we're going to enter. So this is very important because we need an empty shot. How does the place looks like without the horses? And then if we pair that with when the horses are already in shot, it's going to give us some magic. So this is a clean plate it has provided without the horses. And if we go back and forth, clicking the empty space and clicking the shot that has them standing, we will see that it is the same environment. The horses have just been taken out. Now to the very fun aspects, the video generation, which mostly was done in Grok. Grok is very generous and we can use it for free in this particular regard. However, there is a daily cap. If you do get the daily cap, just use another email and continue generating. Let's concentrate on one of the shots that we generated using VO3 to keep the learning flowing logically. Still in the earlier tool that we used to create our base image, which is the Google Image FX. Once we go up here and we click on this particular button, we will see a lot. But what we are looking for here is actually whisk. And so it's going to give us this information. Let's click on continue. Then we'll be required to log in. After that, we just come here, we click on flow. Flow is really what we need. And then we click on launch. It opens this particular window. And all we need to do is now just to click on create a new project. Don't worry about naming the project for now. We are just here to create that particular shot that we want. So if you look down here, currently it is on text to video, but we are going to change it to frames. We click over here and then we can change it to frames to video. Remember, we want to use several frames. So the first one here, we click on this plus and we click on upload. It's going to warn us. We say agree. And then we are going to select the first image, which is the empty part where the animals are not in shot. So we select that and then we click on crop and save, and then it comes in. So once this is done, we are going to the next one and then repeat the same process again, and now bring in the one with the horses. We click on the crop, and so we are going to say that the 2 horses walk into shot, right? And stop as the camera remains static. So when we click on these 3 dots over here, we can see the number of generations. And I do recommend that you keep it as 1, because remember, this is free credits we are using in a paid tool. So let's maximize what we have. So let's keep it at 1. And then let's make sure our landscape is at 16 by 9. Unfortunately, we cannot select the 21 by 9 here. And then over here, we have the type of model that you can use. So they offer 2 here. They have 3.1 fast and then VO3. Once we select VO3.1 itself, you realize that the credit jumps to 100 and we don't want that. So let's go ahead and use the 3.1 fast, which is going to take us just 20 credit. All said and done, we just click on the generate button and then give it some few moments. It's going to take a while, but just for the power of editing, I've sped it up just so we can see the final video quickly. And this is what it has created. So once we play it, amazing. So it starts without the horses in shots and then the horses walking. This is the power of start to end frame. And trust me, let your imagination go wild. This thing actually makes a difference in AI movie productions. We just need to be careful because it is going to leave a watermark on the video anyway, because that is not actually a free tool. It is just a paid tool giving us free access just for a number of generations before it is taken away. So it is something to keep in mind. But in our case, because we are using the black bars, it easily covers that particular watermark that it is going to leave behind. So let's head back into Grok and see how everything else was generated. Just go to Google and then let's type this at the search bar. Let's just type Grok AI. In fact, this is very popular, so it will just come up and then we click on it. And this is how the interface looks like. But what we actually want is the Imagine tool over here. Once we click on Imagine, it's going to take us here, and then we click on this attach button. And so once we click on it, it is going to give us a chance to be able to click on upload a file. So let's click on upload a file, and then now go search where we have this images stored. Select the first image with these birds flying and just click on open. Then we wait for it to load in. One amazing thing about Grok here is that by default, it is set to just generate something exactly without you even writing a prompt. Now, some people may hate it, some people may like it, but for me, I do kind of like it because sometimes it just even understands the image better than the kind of prompt I would have put in. Certain times too, I just know that this thing has failed even before it starts to generate because I know it will not understand what I want. It's simply just looking at the image and guessing what you may want. So after using it for a very long time, I already know when it will fail and when it doesn't. And this is amazing, guys. This is what it has already created for us. And once we click on this particular button, we can hear sound. And that's one amazing thing about Grok. So generous. We are doing this for free and we have access to sound. These files come with sound on their own. So once you are okay with that, you go up here, click on these three dots, and what you're going to see is upscale video, and it is going to upscale it to 1080. So you just keep an eye on it. Once it is done, the video is going to change to HD. So once you go back to the menu, you realize that it has been blurred out. And then the download button is right here. So once we click on it, the video is going to be downloaded onto our computer. This is absolutely amazing, and we are doing this for free, guys. So let's go back and click on the Imagine and bring in another shot. So for example, this, we just wrote the prompt. The boy is sitting still and concentrating while moving his eyeballs slightly in anticipation. The camera is slowly moving towards his face, and we can see this was well executed, and I like this. So we just upscale it as usual, and once it is done, we just click on the download button, and this would be downloaded onto our computer, ready to be used later on for editing. This is absolutely exciting. So once it comes to the dialogue side of this particular film, because of course, this is not the usual one where we narrate or there's voiceover. This one was purely narrative, right? So we needed to find a way for the people to talk in this particular film. So instead of doing ADR, and of course, I still think ADR is the best way to go if you want very accurate, very consistent voices in AI filmmaking. But for this particular video, I wanted to push the full limit of this free AI tool to see what can we really get. So I came up with a workflow. Use Gemini to write a consistent prompt for the two characters, which is the boy and the man, and then later on the voice of the dragon. And then use, of course, Grok to generate those voices alongside those videos. However, I can assure you that even if you prompt for no music, there's still going to be some form of music that will end up at the background of the dialogue. That is where Adobe Podcast comes in. And I use that to delete all the background sounds so that we can have a clean audio and then lay it on our editing bench. So this is the interface of Gemini, and all I did here was to just write create prompt for two distinctive voices from an old active African warrior from Ghana, West Africa. And a young, strong boy the prompt short, because I don't want any long prompt that I'll have to copy back and forth always, right? So this was very important. Then I changed my model to thinking, and remember to always add the country. That will help with the accent very well. And as we can see, this is the information it gives us just after some few seconds of thinking about the prompt that we have given to it. And if you go through what it has written, it is quite detailed, but at the same time, quite summarized straight to the point. So at this point in time, all we need to do is just to come here and always copy the prompt, take it back to Grok, and then we write a dialogue, what we want the person to say. And over time, the dialogue is going to stay consistent throughout that whole period. So let's come here, and then the boy is going to say, how do you hunt so well even at this age? So since it's the boy, let's go find the boy's voice over here. Copy the boy's voice, that is the voice prompt, and then we paste it in front so that the dialogue will be at the end, right? So let's write here, he says, then we put a semicolon. That is not a necessity. You can just say he says, and then you write what he's supposed to say, right? So this is how the prompt looks like. Say, act as Kojo, a 14-year-old boy known for his unusual strength. Your tone is energetic, earnest, and slightly boastful. You use simple language, focus on physical action, climbing, lifting, wrestling, and are more deeply driven by a need to earn your place among the men, right? And then we proceeded to say he says, then we wrote the dialogue in. So we are going to copy this top part every single time this boy is speaking, and just keep writing the last part, which is the dialogue. One other tip I have for you is that do not overload the dialogue. Just keep it simple. So even if you have to, let's say the person is speaking for a minute, then I would suggest that you generate it 3 different times. So just take them in chunk, generate it, take another small portion, generate it. Don't just generate it at once, because it will be rushing through the whole process. But this is a narrative. You need it to have a calm tone, slow, let them speak slowly so that we can all get to understand what is going on. So as already discussed, because the music was in the background, all we need to do is just to go to Google over here, and then we type in Adobe or Adobe Podcast, right? And they're also very generous. They have a free plan over there, which we use to create or use in this particular regard. So once we click on this particular one, all we need to do is to click on choose files, and then we go to where we have already rendered the whole dialogue. This is very important. We rendered the whole dialogue track. That is after the editing was done. And then we took it here just so that we can isolate the voice from all the random music that was generated, or else it is going to sound and look very, very choppy. That is how we ended up getting the clean voice that we used. And then after that, the next important thing was getting, of course, our sound effects and music. And I know most of you guys are always asking how or where do we find sound effects. In this particular regard, we use YouTube audio library. And time without number again, guys, on this channel, I keep encouraging you guys, when you go through or when you take your time there, you can find very rare gems. Because mostly when sounds like that are free, the quality, let's face it, is always very low. But trust me, when you take your time very well at the YouTube audio library, you will really strike some gold. So how you access YouTube audio library, where you get this free stuff, is just to open your YouTube over here. You click on your icon at the top, and then you click on YouTube Studio. That's all you need to do. And it's going to open this particular window over here. And then you go to the left-hand side of the screen, and then you are going to see the audio library. Once you click on it, you're going to get a whole plethora of sound effects, sounds, everything that you may need to be able to create your videos. However, there's a very important button that I want to introduce you in. Once you are doing all this, just hover your mouse over here to the right, and then you can see that it will tell you exactly how you can use this clip. Be very mindful, because even though YouTube Audio Library gives you freebies, once in a while, you may find one file there, even though it may be free, but they will tell you that you must attribute the person, or you must write or give some form of credit to the owner. And just because sometimes content creation is so much of commitment, I just don't want to keep those things, so I don't want to get into trouble. So once I'm going through and I see that it requires some form of attribution, I just leave it and I go away because I may not be able to remember later on. So I only go in for those that says no attribution is required. And we can see it clearly here. No attribution is required. And that is how we went about recruiting or getting all the music and sound effects for this particular project. After this, the most important thing is editing. Unfortunately, this video is already too long. We cannot go into that topic. If you really want me to talk about editing, make sure to click on the like button. If this video gets at least 2,000 likes, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to drop a very detailed editing workflow. Not just using paid software, but free software that each of us out there would also be able to use. So kindly do us a favor by clicking on the like button and making sure to subscribe if you are new here and turning on the post notification icon because I have many freebies coming over here very soon. And we'll be announcing slots for our upcoming workshops very soon so that those of you who are interested can get to join our upcoming workshops. This is our first video of the year 2026 and we do hope that you guys will be here and we can build this family together. Let's get to 50K by next month. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, as always, this is Africa Amaze channel and I will catch you in the next one. Until next time, keep practicing filmmaking. Peace out.